So I'll be showing how you can use AI capabilities of Crop.photo to edit your images in bulk. Here we have the project. This is a typical project setting for Crop.photo. On the left-hand side, we have the project configuration, and we have some sample images on the right-hand side, so that you can easily see how the project settings will reflect on your output images. So you can remove the background, set the background as transparent, any other solid color, or you can also choose any custom image to be applied as the background of your image. So in the next step, we are doing content aware resize. So our an AI engine has the capability of identifying the object inside the image and then resizing based on that object. So here you can see that the image is in a landscape mode and the vase is aligned towards the left of the image. But now let's say if we want to resize it to a portrait mode, our AI engine is capable of resizing based on the object and keeping the object in focus and cropping out the irrelevant parts of the image. It doesn't matter whether the object is aligned towards a corner, to the top, bottom, right. AI engine will always recognize where the object is placed and crop the image accordingly. Now, the second feature of Crop.photo, which is very unique to Crop.photo, is preserving the side contact. So here you can see that we have specified a margin of 8% to be applied to all sides, but our AI engine is capable of recognizing where the object is touching the edge of the image, and it will not add a margin to that side so that the image doesn't look truncated. So in the next step, you can add a drop shadow like Rahul was mentioning you can add the similar kind of shadow to all your images. You can control the size of the shadow using the vertical and horizontal settings. You can also change the blur intensity and the color of the shadow. So in the next step, you can select all the output sizes that you want to generate for your images. So you may have different requirements for different marketplaces. So you can select all these sizes at one go, and when you run the project once, you will get all the output sizes in one run of your project.
I think, Joyda, that's probably the most important point, that what you just showed there for different output sizes.
Yeah.
Because a lot of our retouching friends, they need to target their own website, various marketing channels, there's CMSs. And so there's often need to crop different ways. Aspect ratios have to be changed. And being able to first set up your preferences on what are the target sizes and what does the retouching need to do, you have the ability then, that's what you're going to show next, to then take your own
Right.
images and apply it to all of them, the same settings, and generate multiple crops.
Right. Right, you're absolutely right, Rahul. And because of the content aware resizing, our basically AI engine will be able to resize them. You can give any output sizes, it will be able to resize them, keeping the object in focus as well as maintaining the aspect ratio. So here I just uploaded 10 images of my choice. And the good part about this is once you run the project, all the images will be cropped and resized as per your settings at one go. And I have only uploaded 10 images. You can upload thousands of hundreds of images in this page. And another good part is that you don't need to set up the project again and again. If you want to run the same configuration on a different set of images, you can just create a duplicate of this project. All the configuration will be copied over, and you can just upload a different batch of images to the second project, and then you can just run the same automation on that different set of images as well. So I have already basically run this automation on the same images, and I will just show you how the output looks like. So if you look at the outputs, you can see that all the images have been resized, keeping the object in focus. So I will show a couple of examples, like for example, in this shoe, in this image, the shoe was aligned towards the right of the image. But here you can see that even though we have cropped the image to a square dimension, the shoes are still in focus. In the case of this image, the shoe was aligned towards the bottom of the image. But here we have been able to again resize the image, keeping the shoe in focus. In this image, the tools were towards the bottom left corner. And we have resized the image, keeping the tools in focus. And also this also demonstrates the preserving of the edge contact. That is, the tools were touching the edge of the image. That's why we have not added any margin to this side. So now, if we want to compare this with Photoshop batch actions, I had actually run the same Photoshop batch action on the same set of images. So I had run remove BG batch action. So here you can see that for some of the images, the remove background using Photoshop was not very accurate. And this will definitely need some manual effort to get the correct result. Whereas in our case, the images, the background removal worked perfectly fine.
I think,
And
Joyita,
the
that's probably,
second,
sorry to interrupt, but that's
yeah,
a very key point, because I know a lot of retouchers and retouching firms are used to running Photoshop actions. And this question often comes up, that can AI do better than the batch actions that we can perform with Photoshop? And I think you're answering that.
yeah, exactly. So here, basically, without any manual intervention, you can see that how nicely the background has been removed, and also the drop shadow has been added. So speaking of the resize that we are doing, so I also try to use Photoshop batch action for resizing the image using the same dimension that I was using in Crop.photo. So here, basically, you can see that since the images were of different dimensions and also the object alignment varied across the images, Photoshop, because it doesn't have the AI capability of identifying the objects, it was not able to detect the objects. So Photoshop batch action, basically the same action will not work if the image dimensions are not uniform and the object alignments are varying across images. Whereas in the case of Crop.photo, because it has the AI capability of recognizing the object position, it is able to detect where the object is and resizing it based on the position of the object.
Yeah, that's another great
So
point, because there are a lot of tools that have bulk or batch action, but being able to combine the intelligence of various AI models, and there are not one, but multiple AI models that we are running in order to smartly resize and crop these images as how an e-commerce seller would want them to be.
yeah, right. Yeah, that is what actually I wanted to highlight also in the live demo. The second use case I would like to quickly show is, Rahul, like you mentioned in the shopping website, generating unrecognizable crops for models. So we can do that also using Crop.photo. So basically here I had set a crop reference point between eyes and nose. And here you can see that the images of the models have been cropped from that reference point. So one specific case I would like to point out here is for this model, even when the model is not facing the camera, our AI engine is still able to recognize the reference point and crop from that reference point. So the position of the model doesn't really matter. Our AI engine is smart enough to recognize the reference point even in this case. And even in this case, you can generate multiple output sizes. So yeah, it's similar to the background removal type of project. And the last use case that I would like to highlight is like in the previous project, I cropped from a reference point. You can also crop around a reference point. So this may be specifically useful for, let's say, generating ID cards for your business. So here I had configured the project to crop around a reference point and remove the background and set a custom color. So you can set a standard size that is your company's requirement, or any custom color as the background as per your company requirement, and then you can crop images around a particular reference point. So yeah, these are some of the use cases I wanted to show how Crop.photo uses its AI capabilities to help editing images in bulk.
That's great, Joyita. So I think one point that I would like to make is Joyita is going through a couple of use cases here, but AI here is much more powerful. So sometimes as an editor or a retoucher, it's kind of hard to visualize how to get the AI to do what you have in mind. It can do a lot of things, but it cannot read your mind. So you can play with the settings, but we always encourage our users to chat with us if you are trying to manage a particular type of crop and you don't think you understand how to get the exact result. just hit the chat button in our app, and our AI expert can help tune the AI to specifically what you need.